Another bye round down in Supercoach. Another big name injury throwing a spanner into trade works, but more importantly, another disappointing performance from the Chief. In round 15, welcome back to the Phantoms Lair. This is the Phantom speaking, and let's go straight into it, Chief, because you, quite rightly, are the king of bop.
Bottom of the pod, yep, and sad times with Jack Sinclair.
Yes.
Yep, scoring a 4, calf injury, plenty to get to on that front. We'll go through the replacements on this show, as well as some DPP, bit of preview on our final editions that'll happen after round 17. And fam, we're going to look at the trade situation because with this latest injury, it's going to put a little bit of a spanner in the works to finishing our final teams, isn't it?
And the hardest bye round is upon us too. Round
D-Day.
16. You're
Round
up
16.
and about. For some reason you are, but big names out on the bye. As you mentioned, trade counts are low, money is tight. Upgrading, getting that complete team is looking hard for some. Jack Sinclair's injury making that even harder.
Definitely. Let's get into how he went for the round. As you mentioned,
I can't wait.
unfortunately, I am king of bop.
I've got a question. Now, I've got a question before you go into your team.
Okay.
I think we need the listeners' answer on this.
Yeah.
Who is more washed? Tristan Xerri? 5 names after a couple of weeks down at Dark Mofo and Tassie? Or your Supercoach team?
The teams, yeah.
It's a dead heat.
No, I'm going to be fine. And there's, as you said, the round 16, while it may be trouble for some, old Dossy might be rising to the top with that. Now, of course, Sim, yes, as you mentioned, sick. We waited an extra day to record with the full gang.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we are one soldier down still yet again. But 5-name shout out, get better soon to the great man. But 22-02 for me. So not the worst. Still went up in rankings.
Yep.
You guys just had a great week, all thanks to a certain vice captain that I passed on.
Your man. Your man.
I mentioned it on our Friday show last week. I went against Luke Jackson.
Officially not your man. Not your boy anymore. How did you overlook him?
I just thought Xerri up against Richmond would go absolutely big. And we saw in the last quarter what he was capable of. But just that role, we'll get into him very shortly, Fant, but we'll talk about our scores quickly.
I need to make a correction.
Okay.
I need to make a retraction. So on the Friday show, I said you've gone for North Melbourne's second ruckman as your VC. Got to retract that. Third! He's their third ruckman!
He is. Oh, dear. So I'm ranked 13,649. Look, it's been not great. I've dropped 5K so far in the buys, but hoping to jump right back up this round. Now, ASAP Rockcliffe, that is 5 names team, 22.92 for him. So is he top of the pod this week?
He is top of the pod.
Top of the pod,
He is on
22.92. He's surging, the big fella. 16,756 is his overall rank. So 5 names went the VC on Luke Jackson, had some big scores all around. Did 5 names.
Yeah, now I've just got a text from him too. He's sending his pew-pew.
He's just sending in.
I like it.
Had Jordan De Goey as his pew-pew last week. We scoffed at him.
No, I like this one.
Dropped to 130, so we'll wait and see that later in the show. How did old middle of the pod go? Moppy over here.
Moppy, 2249 for me.
Yep.
47 points ahead of you, or 46 points ahead of you. Moved up 5,000 spots in the overall ranking, still at a very, very, very average 23,000, but hoping the climb continues from here. I'm still waiting though. Now, is it true that you designed a fancy piece of artwork, boppy bottom bum of the buyers for the Lair, thinking you're going to give it to me? You've been talking about your buy round team storming home.
Yep.
We're still waiting for it 4 buy rounds in.
Well,
so you've designed it for yourself.
Well, we know the trophy, the amazing trophy that you get for winning the SuperCoach Cup. Congratulations to anyone who's still surviving the cut in the SuperCoach Cup. But yes, I did design a trophy myself for the bum of the bias that was going to be handily presented to you. But at the moment, I'm trailing behind. But like I said, this week, D-Day for many coaches. So could be the difference this week. So many players on the bye. We will talk about them soon, but let's talk about the heroes and villains for the week. Start with the heroes, Phantom. Luke Jackson for you, surely, with the VC. Any others?
Luke Jackson VC on Thursday night. That was big. We've already talked about that.
176.
Maxi Gorn was pretty good too. 140, another player you don't have. But my hero of the week. Now, copped a bit of grief internally and externally about this guy, but he's back. Changed his name back to Can't Overlook Cow. Cow Wilkie.
No.
130 of the best on Sunday.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sinclair going down helped him massively. He was just enjoying life back there. It was a tough watch.
You didn't like it, did you?
Tough watch. Oh, jeez. Probably still had 10 kicked on him. 130.
That's why we love Cow. Doesn't matter.
Well, my hero, I've got a bunch actually. Still happy with the squad. Nando. How good's Noah Anderson been lately? Just continually pumping out huge scores.
I owe him a big apology for making him bum of the year.
Oh, yeah. We presented him the award and then he's turned it around. Post-appendix, Nando has been
on fire.
Next level. Josh Dacos, just for his last quarter, 16 disposals in the final quarter. I think, what was he on, 47 or something at three-quarter time? You sent through a message, because I traded in Josh Dacos. You sent through a message and said, congrats on bringing in Timu Houston.
At the time, three-quarter time, Houston was 73, I think. Dacos was in the 40s.
Yep.
Houston got 84 in the end.
92 for Josh Dacos. I'll take that, especially with the Richmond matchup this week, hoping he goes big. But my big hero for the week,
Sam Banks,
goes to Bevo.
Bevo,
who said post-match he was going to let Nazaya have 65 touches if he wanted to. Thankfully for Bevo and for me, he almost did. He had 44, Nazaya, and he dropped a 144 for me as captain. So missed the big captaincy score off Luke Jackson. As I said, went to Tristan Xerri, who wasn't good enough, and then finished the round with a 144 for Nazaya, and maybe a player that we'll talk about as a potential Sinclair replacement later. What about the villains, though, Fan? Who let you down this week?
Cozzy.
Yeah,
we saw Jay Clark, Herald Sun Chief footy writer, last weekend after Cozzy blitzed at the MCG to tag him.
Yes.
They did. James Peatling of the Crows went to him, put some effort into him around the ball on Saturday afternoon. The Crows go over a line of 54 Supercoach points for Cozzy. Just wasn't it a pod in a lot of my matchups. So that was probably the only downside. Quick before we go to your villains, I do have to mention my boy Sam Banks, who I did bring in if you did miss the Friday show.
Yeah.
I went back to him. Archie Roberts, downgrade to Sam Banks. 87 the week before, 90 again on the weekend. Hopefully my season mirrors his season from here.
Okay, we'll see. Now, I've got plenty of villains this week. Darcy Cameron, not putting up a 60 as prime ruck, not good enough. Shocking stuff. Rankin, who started so well, we held him through, you and I.
He was on fire
early. Looked like I was pretty happy with that, and then ended on a 60 as well. Johnny Nobes, my new 600k premium, puts up an 87. Started on a wing. Don't know what was going on there. I think he might actually do that usually, but I haven't watched him close enough as a non-owner. But now, as an owner, was watching that. He was the only Suns defender, I reckon, to not go over 115 plus. They went massive, but he just couldn't get his hands on the pill. But my biggest villain, and he's qualifies now for bum of the week and maybe bum of the year after yet.
Jerry.
Another time he lets me down. This is just a history of letting me down. LD Spew.
Ooh.
LD Poo.
Yep.
Just every time I bring this guy in, he averages 50 for me. And again, what did he put up on the weekend? Against Richmond.
Doesn't need the soft draw. Maybe he doesn't
soft draw. You bring him in for these matchups. Then he gets tagged against West Coast the week before. Barely scrapes. So what did he get the week before? 101. Barely scrapes a ton. So for me, I brought him in after blistering form, averaging 115 for the year. He's gone 79, 101, and 58 in the best matchup in footy for an inside mid. So LD Spew lets me down every time I bring him in. Hopefully he can bounce back. But LDU, my biggest villain of the week there, Phantom. He probably classifies for a Lair Mare as well, because could have brought in some pretty special options a few weeks ago, like a Jordan Dawson.
Yeah. I've got a nickname for you.
Yep.
Because you're picking the wrong players.
Yep.
Noble, LD Spew, Josh Dacos.
Yep.
Just making all the wrong calls. You're starting the wrong players.
Yeah.
Dossy Popovic. We know the Socceroos coach, Tony Popovic, what he did in the first half on Saturday morning.
That does sound like me.
Did he start the right team? Up for debate. Did you start the right team on the weekend? Very, very much up for debate. So Dossy Popovic.
Benched Hugo Hall-Kahan with no emergency as well. So that's very much Coach Papados areas there.
Papados.
Unfortunately. But there was plenty of other coaches, and this made me feel a bit better about my team, Phantom, this week, because there were plenty of other coaches who had a Lair Mare. Here's our Lair Mare of the week.
Please, anyone but Sinclair. I've had enough of Supercoach, man.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Can someone call the police? Because I can't seem to find Luke Davies-Uniacke. Come on, man. You're versing Richmond. Do something.
Had to trade Roberts, had Sinclair, Smith and Worrell. LDU did pure cardio on the field, and Toddy Marshall's 19 was in my best 18.
Got LDU and Rao instead of Dawson and Callahan. 3 weeks, 1 ton between both of them. They stink. Pick up their game now.
Yeah.
Before the Freo Geelong game, I looked at my trades. I went, you know what, don't need to make these this week. We'll cancel and reverse all the trades. And forgot that Fremantle had a bye last week and left Luke Jackson on my bench without an emergency, scoring a 176, which is great.
Can we get more trades next year?
Have to agree, Phantom, after the carnage we've faced. More trades. We need them at the moment. We need them.
I'm all right.
You're good.
That was your big weapon. You're going to come storming home because you've got more trades than everyone else.
Yep.
We got the same heading into round 16.
I know. It's been a tough year. But you were saying in the history of Supercoach, you reckon we've had it tougher on the injury front?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think what's making this seem harder is the way we're trading in the boost and extra trades era of Supercoach. Before that, when we didn't have the extra trades, when we didn't have the boost, we were more conservative. So by the midway point of the year, we weren't sort of getting close to being exhausted because we weren't upgrading our teams as quickly either. So I think we've had, at least on par, injuries. But it has been hard, no doubt about it.
Been tough. Just a lot of relevant names. Now, let's talk about some people that were absolutely flying this round. Not everyone is stinking it up like us. Van, 24.83 was the round leading score. Now, that prize is $1,000, doubled to $2,000 for being a Supercoach Plus subscriber this week as well. 24.83 was the round winner. That is crazy stuff. That's a huge score. Now, shout out to Al over in Melbourne. Al Payton, 23.64 he got this round too. So 741st for the round this week. So might be me next week or this week, I reckon. So some huge scores. Thanks to the Luke Jackson VC, of course, but there were some other massive scores as well. Now, to our Lair League, the Listener League entries, of course, officially closed at the bye rounds for them. If you're a late comer, you can join next year. Now, the winner of there gets a Lair care package of merch. The current leaders, Southern Bandits, Martin, coming 7th overall as well. So leading the Lair League and coming 7th overall. We've got 5 coaches in the top 15 at the moment. Second is Sheezy Ball. Third, Ronald's Warriors. 4th, Cookies, Crumblers, and then Nacho Liberatore. Good name. Coming in 5th there, Robert, and 13th overall. Now let's look at the number 1 overall with a total score of 32,886. At the moment, is Jesse, coach of Duffma Raiders. That's a huge score, total score.
Can they hold on?
Currently have a lead of 103 point lead at the moment with the last buy round. This last buy round is going to be very critical. We'll see how people shape up. I feel like we're going to see the couple of weeks after the buy are going to be where we really see where teams are at.
Good team. Wonder how many trades left.
Also an interesting...
Ryan Newcomb, D8. M8. Ryan Newcomb, M8.
Shout out to a few coaches as well in our community who are flying. Now, we got Doos, last year's winner. Still coming 2,862 this year. Probably been hit by a few bullets, but that is a solid ranking coming off a huge win last year from Doos. Now, another player, another coach who he featured on the show last year, was leading towards the end of the year, got overtaken right at the finish line. Last year's number 2 overall, Hock Baby,
Yep, friend of the show.
Jordan, sitting in 133 overall. And he's been in my DMs. He says, we're coming.
Jeez.
That's what he said. Now, he was pointing to a social post the other week as well. So he brought in Isaac Heaney for his 170 odd, put the VC on. Brought in Jordan Dawson for the 180, put the VC. So these week, he traded them in that week, and then he brought in Luke Jackson as well, the week just gone, put the VC on. So he's had 3 170 plus captain scores in the last month. So that's going to help you rise up the rankings. Another shout out, of course, over in Melbourne, Chloe Williams, gone up to 312 overall, jumping up at over 100 spots on the weekend. So flying over there. Maybe on one of the podcasts this week, so listen in. And then Kyron Grundy, brother of, came first overall last year in AFL Fantasy, ineligibly.
Yep.
349th overall in Supercoach this year. So he's applying his trade pretty well over here.
Traded Brody as well.
Yeah, it did.
Yep.
A few weeks back.
And don't redact AFL Fantasy mention either.
Okay.
Leave it in.
News and notes, Spy Round D-Day is here, Phantom. Round 16. Have a listen to this. Melbourne,
it's not pretty.
Geelong, St Kilda and Western Bulldogs on the bye. Let's have a listen to some of these highly owned players. Bont, 60%. Sinclair, 53%. Now looking at a trade. Cozzy Pickett, 52%. Maxi Holmes, 48%. Gawn, 46%. Bailey Smith, 27% owned. Naz, 24%. Wilkie, Brune, Richards, Dale, Jack Steele even, Tom Stewart, a little bit lower owned, and then Riley Sanders, Tim English, Max Hall for some pods. So if you got any of those guys or a lot of those guys, which I think a lot of the good coaches have a lot of them.
Well, now
you're in
exactly.
drops.
A lot of good coaches, a lot of good players, and that you don't have. Unbelievable stuff. That's what. Jeez, you might be good for a week.
Flying. Yeah, so if you didn't pick any good players this year, you're going to have a good week.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to have a real good week this week. And there's a few rookies as well. We got the Joel Fitzgeralds, Campbell Lakes, Charlie Banfield. So it is going to be a tough week for many coaches. This is the hardest buy round by far. So good luck out there. And don't be too worried as well, because just think a lot of coaches are in the same boat. Just try and get as many green dots on field as you can this week, whether that be by trade or by just shuffling the decks a little bit if you can, with a little bit of DPP magic.
And remember, we'll speak about it more in depth, but just look at your premium counts. An extra 1 or 2 rookies at the bottom end. You're not sideways trading rookies just to get an extra green dot.
Yep.
Has to be a good one.
Good call. But the big news, Phantom. Jack Sinclair, the calf looked nasty. People were worried, including myself, that it could have been the same Sammy Flanders situation, but the Achilles has been ruled out. But
good news.
What are we going to do?
High-grade calf injury, St Kilda have said. We'll miss an extended period.
Oh.
Extended period, as what St Kilda said on Monday, will be reassessed over the coming weeks to determine a timeline for his return. So he doesn't rule out the season completely for St Kilda, but would go close to ruling out at least the home and away season for Supercoach.
Yeah.
An extended period isn't good this time of the year. The trade, isn't it, Chief?
I think it's got to be a trade. I mean, we can wait. That's the news we've got at the moment if they assess it. And I mean, with the bye this week, you could technically hold and wait for more news next week.
Well, it's
and
already
they've
brought him out for an extended period.
Yeah.
Then in the coming weeks, they'll determine when he'll work his way back. So
it's a trade.
It's at least
it's got to be
5 or 6 weeks, you would have thought.
Yep.
More.
I guess if you just have basically no trades, you can hope that he comes back for the end of the year if you're just playing for the league. But yeah, it's a trade for everyone else. He also, unfortunately, lost 62,000 on his price over the weekend due to scoring the 4 points. That just hurts. It limits what you can do with him if you've don't have much money in the bank. But yes, we'll talk about all the trade options for him, including your top targets later on, but also just the straight swap defenders who we can go with in a bit. But also some other news. We missed Bailey Smith on the weekend as well. He was a laid out with illness before last round. Some coaches actually did trade him out, surprisingly. Josh Worrell, also a laid out, 12% owned.
Yep,
so
illness too for him.
Did affect some people. Sorry?
Illness too for Josh
Yes, so should be all right.
Yep.
A couple of other injuries, though. Daniel Rioli, broken jaw, will miss some time. For those that, I guess, went to Noble, could be positive things for his role in terms of that. Josh Weddle has got 3 week suspension for that jaw as well. And then Jarman Impey, hammy. So just a couple of defenders there notably gone. So maybe you could get lucky with some of those guys who the Hawks rookies that people have brought in. Maybe a couple of those.
And
or
Perez
one.
back.
Yeah, maybe a Perez comes back in the side. Wait and see there, but you might get lucky and get some of that cover that we're talking about. We know it could be still those rookie scores, but at least some cover is better than none.
Just on the Hawks quickly. Your man, did you see your man, the pencil? In the twos?
Big game.
On Thursday?
Big game.
40-3.
Pencil. TDK, cracked ribs and a punctured lung. Now, you would think huge boost for a Rowan Marshall for the next little bit, but he was also injured.
Oh, no.
Phantom with his shoulder, so he is being assessed as well. See the severity on that one on the injury report, but could you go to Rowan Marshall for a forward play or given
425K? Interesting. Then 150K on his price tag. We know the effect, and we all predicted the effect that TDK would have on him. Interesting one.
Yeah, depends how long TDK's out, I suppose.
And see how Marshall is.
Now, Tristan Xerri, did you see he went to the bench? I thought he was done with the jaw as well. He looked like he'd, broken his jaw just about as well, but he came back on, seemed to be okay. But the huge one, Phantom, which you initially pointed out to us, perfect for the target demographic. You were listening to SEN, so for the false.
Well, only because the early game was not on Triple M. I was out doing my lawns.
There you go.
Could not get Triple M at the rubs on, Sunday rubs on. Didn't have the game, the early game on.
Yeah.
It was fair enough. Wasn't a great game.
Yeah.
Had to listen to SEN or AFL Nation, and Liam Pickering was on there, said a couple of times, said his North Melbourne people had told him that Sherry's been a bit sore in the groins.
So that's the first we've really heard of anything about him being injured. There was a lot of speculation, whether it was like a back or something like that, but a groins is what you've heard on the radio.
It's not, yes, that's what Liam Pickering said.
Secondhand information, yeah.
Said a couple of times, went back to it again when Sherry came off. They didn't know about the draw or that time. Pickering said it again when Sherry came to the bench.
But then this, in addition to that, we heard this yesterday on Fireball from Harry Sheasel.
Yeah, he's such a selfless player, Big X. I think his body hasn't been 100% the last couple months, and he's just finding a way to get it done for us. I think yesterday, and even against West Coast, he was huge. Like, obviously, he's not in the centre bounce as much and as probably dominant in that space as he was last season or the year before that. But I thought his marking yesterday, standing up in big moments, took a massive mark against West Coast the week before. So he's definitely still contributing, and yeah, I love playing with him.
We still want him in the centre bounce, playing his best footy.
Is that confirmed, Wash?
Well, it just confirms that he's, as I said, the body's not 100%. So it kind of just, as a trade-in option, if you're still even considering it, probably just, puts some doubt over that. And also some potential for, if you are an owner, that if things get better with the body, that there's actually hopefully some potential for growth. Like his points per minute numbers are still massive. He's just barely playing. The role still stinks. Now, Errol Goulden, we've heard, will play.
Oh, some good news.
By Dean Cox this morning on SEN as well. So some great news there.
Will there be a managed minute scenario or just full ball off you go?
No, there won't be. He won't have too many restrictions on him. I think that the pleasing thing after he certainly could start running, he's been running for 8 weeks or so. So he's done another pre-season, he's got another one under his belt. And I think that's one of his biggest strengths is how he covers the ground. So, he'll be managed a little bit, but expect him to play near match minutes that he normally does.
So that was SEN as well this morning. Dean Cox and Gary Lyons speaking there.
I'd be super surprised. He said he tempered a little bit at the end there. Will we manage round 16? Hasn't played since
he said
round
near
1.
match minutes. Near match minutes.
Hasn't played since round 1. Big part of the season to go. Up the Gabba up there. It's probably going to be warm, is it? Not sure, but
yeah, it'd be
566K.
He's just a superstar though, isn't he? You're getting him in as a keeper. It's a hefty price to pay though, given what we've seen when players have come back. We saw, a Caleb Sarong. It was different. It was from a calf, but he's playing, 60% time on ground. Similar situation. Sydney's also flying at the moment. They don't need to necessarily play him.
2 tons to start the year as well. We forget about a little bit, so he's not going to go down in price.
Still, Coxie's saying he's done a second full preseason.
You're going to go there
for Goulden. Well, he's certainly tempting now. Willem Dersma, if you've held through, and even a Tom McCarthy who was on fire and a bit of a pod there, both likely to return as well via 7 News last night. Hot topics, and we'll get to Sinclair trades very shortly, but how many trades left? People are wondering, how many trades should we have? Do we need on the run home? Where should we be at right now? What do you think the sweet spot is? Obviously, you can't take those trades back now if you've spent them, but what's the sweet spot to be at with, still, what do we got after this round? We've still got 8 rounds to go.
Yeah, well, more than what you and I have.
Yeah.
Which is 6.
I don't know. It's not the worst amount.
I think it all depends on where your team is.
Yeah.
How close you are to a team full of premiums, what your bench cover is like.
That's big for me, bench cover for sure.
I mean, if double figures, if you're sitting there with 10 and maybe one more upgrade to make, you can take 5 or 6 in the run home just for injuries, suspensions, luxury trades as you move into Supercoach finals. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
You and I aren't going to have that.
No.
This week, I'm going to trade Jack Sinclair out. That's an injury trade. That's one of the ones I'd be saving it for. Down to 5. And then I'm just waiting a little bit longer and we'll do one more 1 down, 1 up trade. Maybe a Wade Dirksen and then Elijah Sardis up to my final midfield premium, which would take me down to 3, which is cutting it fine.
Yeah.
3 injury trades for the run home. Would have a bit of cover. And in this age of Supercoach 2, we've got the flex as cover.
Yeah.
So 22 scores count. If you got 23, let's say, premiums, we're going to have Hugo Hulkan still and Joel Fitzgerald still on the bench there to cover if needed. So I think I'm hopefully going to be okay. Stuff always pops up. We go over this every year in the run home. Injuries pop up. Managed players pops up. Suspension, something will pop up. You will be hurt. You can't. I mean, we saw the great man, Skodfather, run the gauntlet with 0 trades 1 year in the back home. And
I think he's doing it again this year. He's posted that he's the Skodfather, is doing that again.
But a couple of double big blows that takes you below the 22 players. It would be hard. You're going to keep falling away pretty significantly, I think, in the final few rounds when teams are complete and putting up big totals.
I think, honestly, in this climate, the year that we've had, between 3 to 5 post-buy is okay this year.
But that's 3 after. Is your team full?
Yeah, with a complete, and that's inverted commas for people just listening.
Yeah. Well, you've got
complete is
Josh Dacos.
Yeah, exactly. So with the guys like that, if you've got 3 to 5 to just sort out injuries, maybe do one little final upgrade when, say, a Hulkahan has enough money on his head and you want to pull the final trigger on something like that. Maybe you get rid of a Wade Dirksen again. I think 3 to 5 is okay. If you got more than that, you're probably flying, honestly, this year with where people are at. And there's going to be people with heaps more than that too. Like we've seen Chloe in Melbourne. I think she's still got 10 plus as well heading into this week. So there are coaches out there with heaps, and it's probably going to be, especially in the top end rankings, those top 100 vying for the final run home here. It's going to be pretty telling as to who's got trades left that's already doing that well this year.
Yeah. So some super coaches out there might be weighing it up. Okay, if it means Hugo Hulkahan is my D6, let's say, finish the year. If that means then they can get one more big gun midfielder with their final upgrade, would you go down that path, or would you, try to get Hugo Hulkahan or someone else up to a fringe top 8 defender and then a fringe top 8 midfielder? Or would you try to back in someone like Hugo Hulkahan? And in the forward line too, there's the top options in the forward line aren't setting the world alight. So if you've got what looks to be a shaky F6, it might work out. You might be better off spending elsewhere.
I agree. I think the forward line is where you can sort of take the most of a punt. You still wouldn't want like a Podarski as your F6, for instance. You'd want like a Durham, for instance, or someone in that sort of low price range, I think would be okay. Or even a Jagger Smith. If you're a Jagger, if you've still got him, for instance, I wouldn't be like rushing out to fix that over fixing some of our other issues, just because that forward line has been, I mean, we just saw Cozzy drop a 50. It has been rare for him to do that this year, but
I've got
just
Colby.
less settled. Yeah, like a Colby. I think that's okay in your forward line. even though it's not. It looks gross on paper, but there's a chance that form turns around, and I think that is where you can go. But I'd also say quickly for people just playing for leagues as well, in the trades left topic, just hold a few. If you're doing okay on the ladder, this is obviously, you need to be sort of in vying for finals, but if you're doing okay, just hold those trades and use them later in the season in finals when you desperately may need them.
Yeah, look at your matchups. Look at where if you need to win. If you've got some trades in hand when it comes to finals matchups, you can trade over the weekend, trade during the matchup, trade to win that week if you're playing in a big league. So trades will be vital. Of course, if you are already going to make it, I mean, you might need to trade to make it, and then you got to risk it. But if you can, conserve.
Another quick hot topic, and then we will get to Jack Sinclair trades. But DPPs, the final round of dual position players, comes in after round 17. Now, this could also impact your trade strategy coming into this week with the Sinclair likely going out. Does Zach Merrin get that defensive status?
Does he, Chief?
13% defense. Surely not. He can't get that in 2 rounds, I wouldn't have thought. Luke Jackson, does he get forward status?
No
chance. 6% forward. Tristan Xerri.
Bench.
Played a lot of forward.
Ruck bench.
8%.
Ugh.
So he played 21% forward in round 15 though.
So,
but 8%.
2027. Ruck forward, maybe. That'd be the only hope from here.
Yep. Max Gawn, 5% forward. Nope. Tanner Bruin, 34% defense. So he dropped under. He was 36.5% defense last week. Had to play inside mid with no Bailey. Smith was good. So he's still on the precipice. Could get there. Dyson Sharp should get forward status, and he'll just play enough games, I think, too. So you need to play 8 games this time. Should play enough by after round 17. Sam Cumming, 36% forward. Had 15 CBAs on the weekend and 97% mid. So I think Cumming, he might drop out of the forward status situation there.
Okay.
Errol Goulden, 40% forward, Phantom.
First 2 weeks.
Needs 8 games. So he won't get that as well. Needs the 8 games.
So 2027.
Yeah. Now, Bond.
What?
Could he get ruck status? Attended. He played
Bevo.
10% ruck on the weekend. So
Mid-ruck next
Bevo's
year.
back. 10% ruck, so he's got 1% for the season. So absolutely not, but that was an interesting use of him now. Phantom, let's get to the biggest hot topic of the week. Jack Sinclair trade options. Going to start just looking at the defenders only for the straight swaps. Who are you liking back there in the defense? Now, we'll get to your actual top 5 tags very shortly, but just defender straight swaps. Who's tickling your fancy there?
Well, the 3 defenders, or the 2 top targets you'd want are on the bye. Max Holmes, Nazai Wanganeen Miller, even a Cow Wilkie at 456k, make money off the trade. 3 great options, and still could be great options next week.
Yeah.
So it could make you, I know you're going to talk about them a bit more later, but it could change your thinking of what you do this week, best 18, we still know, and then could you hold Sinclair this week and then trade him next week to one of the options coming off the bye.
Yep.
Those playing this week, now Luke Parker is the most popular option as we speak. 476k, 130 against North last week. The Bombers this week for North.
Yeah.
We discussed him last week on the show.
Yeah.
And we said, going to be a few big scores, but is he going to be consistent enough given all the ball winners back there and the opponents and everything? And we agreed that he wasn't going to be, but so we weren't surprised about the big score. Essendon this week, there could be another big score. I like that one. You still make money off the trade.
Yeah.
It's going to help what I do with my final upgrade and who I can get to if I go Luke Parker. Because the other option I was considering, Lockie Ash, 544k now. It's going to cost me 30, 40k rather than make on the Luke Parker deal. On the Luke Parker deal. Another ton for him on the weekend. What do you think?
Very nice.
Luke Parker, Lockie Ash.
Well, I've got a segment later to speak about Lockie Ash. Some warning signs coming back. So stay tuned for that. But I think out of those 2, based on that, might have to be Luke Parker. So
full team, if you've got, Luke Parker in a full team of premiums with the flex spot, you go for high ceiling. Probably him, I think, if it's going to make you money. If you got lots of cash and lots of trades, maybe you go with Lockie Ash because I think he still probably gets Luke
I think
Parker
he'll still do all right.
in
Yeah.
total.
Yeah.
One more before I get yours though. You want to make some money?
Yeah.
Like I did last week.
Mhm.
Archie Roberts, Sam Banks. Could you go Jack Sinclair to Sam Banks this week? 507k Jack Sinclair. Sam Banks 305k. Another 4 kick-ins. Another 90 Supercoach points. 26 touches. Him at the MCG on Sunday. 200k. There it is. 200k.
Yeah.
You make your final upgrade with that.
Well, we spoke about going light in the forward line, right? Like with your F6. Could you do that? I'd say the only way I'd go Banks is if you've already got 5 really solid defenders in that slot already. You pretty much finished you must have, finished your defensive slots, and then you've got Jack Sinclair as a primo. Otherwise, I don't think at this time of year I would do that. I'd be getting the big dogs in that spot, I think. Where do you sit? You've got him, so.
Well, yeah, I'll probably tend to agree. I've got Houston at D5. Bit grim. Timu, Josh Dacos. Banks at D6. But then again, we've got Hugo Hall-Khan, who in the run home at D7. Play the loophole potentially with that.
Yeah.
Throw away Dirks in the spot. Play the loophole, the best score. Looper Dan Houston, Looper Sam Banks.
Yeah.
Potentially. And then back in the young Crow. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't go too short with Banks, but again, all depends on what else you want to do.
Yeah, I think, if you've got some real other weak areas, if it, you've spoke about saying you have a Sardis still in your midfield. Like if you've got that and you need a lot more cash to get him to, like, say you want a Bailey Smith off the buy or something like that, I think that's fine. I think it's Banks is a great option to allow you to do that second trade.
Because the role is sort of back to why we liked him coming into this year, what he did in the back half of last year. They want to give him the ball. 305, can he average 95 from here if he gets going?
Now, I think it's critical, though, to come back to your number one point of this whole discussion, and that was the number 1 and 2 options here, Naz and Holmes.
Yep.
I think they are such a clear number 1 and 2.
Definitely.
By far, that if you don't have either one of those, this is probably your last chance to get them. And whether that's based on how many players you've got this week, waiting a week, if you do think that's okay for you, or if you've got, so I've got 6 trades, same as you, if you've got in that sort of realm, I'm considering going down to the rookie this week, say away Dirksen plays, like this is very sort of team dependent again. Yep. Grabbing a Jackson Artemis, who you could say the same for a Kyle Annan if you back him in. I think if Jackson Artemis plays, I'll be prioritising him over Annan because I think Artemis' scoring power is better. Go Sinclair to Artemis, wait till next week, then grab a Holmes or a Naz, whichever one you don't have. Of those two, I don't have Holmes. I'm not missing out on Holmes now. This is my opportunity. I've been blessed with a unfortunate injury that I'm going to have to now grab him. So I'm going to make sure I get him, and I think everyone else should prioritise. If you don't have those two, make sure that Sinclair goes to one of them.
So that's what, so I'm either going to do Sinclair to Parker or wait and go Sinclair to Naz next week.
Yep.
So I'm tempted to go Parker. Helps my team this week, but I think probably the smart thing is to wait.
Yeah. I mean, this is coming from someone, and now we don't know how the rest of the season's going to play out, but I went to a Johnny Noble last week to try and say, like, all right, I'll get the extra points on field. I'll get, straight through the buys, can do that. And then Holmes, who was my other target, went bigger, has the buy this week, but then is going to be a target anyway and is going to have a massive run home. So I just think it's worth weighing up. Who do you really want for the rest of the season? Do you want Luke Parker in your team for the rest of the season, or do you want Naz? And there is still, including this week, 9 rounds to play. So you'll get 8 rounds of Naz versus 9 of Parker. Just weigh up where you think that is. But I think it's really just really worth having a deep think about that and where your team's at.
It's going to cost as well. It's going to cost you 56K.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure about Jackson Artemis over Kyle Anand as well? Quickly, might feature in the top targets. Kyle Anand. We haven't seen Jackson Artemis at AFL level.
Yep.
Kyle Anand, 6 intercepts, 1 intercept mark on debut, and then on Sunday, 4 intercept marks among 8 total intercept possessions.
Yeah, the role for Artemis, though, is going to be the ball user. He's going to be in the, essentially, in my opinion, if he plays, again, he has to get selected first. I think he will. I'm going to say it on the record. I think Artemis plays this week. And I think he steps into Archie Roberts' role. I think you might even see him taking kick-ins. He's the ball user out of there. Like, that's what they wanted.
Zach Merritt has been back there, though.
Yeah.
Sort of took it away a little bit from Archie.
He did. Moved back into the middle a bit the week prior, though. And yeah, he has an 88 average to his name in the VFL, which if you look at Annan, if we're just going VFL to AFL, Annan had a 68 average taking out. I think he had an injury affected game. So he had like between a 50 and a 60 in there average, whereas Artemis is essentially a super coach, like a super coach friendly role. I saw him taking kick-ins in his Essendon VFL debut as well. So he's the guy I would prioritise over Annan, even though it's his debut versus a guy that we've seen twice already. I'd be backing it in. That was where my gut suggests. But if you've seen Annan and you like what you've seen, then just back him in as well. Let's get to your top tags for the week.
Good way into it because there is no defender at number 1 this week. And that sort of sums up the discussion we were just having. Is it better to wait? Maybe. But I think just overall, the number 1 trade option this week, we've talked about this guy on the pod before. 491k, Will Day. Midfielder only, number 1.
Wow.
Value option if you're ready and want to complete that midfield at M8 or something this week. 108 Supercoach points last week against the Suns, 22 touches, 10 contested possessions in 67% game time. Now, break even of 68 this week, won't be under 500k any longer. Sam Mitchell, again, was full of praise for Day post-match and alluded to the fact that, he's going to get, the game time's going to go up over the coming weeks. Yes, they're not going to fully throw him in given the finals run they're hoping to make, but it should only increase from here. So 491k, a nice option. Yes, it still comes with some risk given his injury history, but 491k, finish your midfield, Sinclair aside, then maybe you deal with Sinclair next week.
Okay.
Number 2, another unrelated Sinclair one, but looking at the break-evens, looking at the cheap, you're going to get this guy for some time, probably for the rest of the year. Luke Jackson.
Yeah.
He didn't jump on
so cheap
last week. 587k, 176 on the weekend. Break-even of 51, because now that score of 89 against Brisbane in round 12 is going to drop out of his 3-round rolling average.
He's lost cash for the year.
Yeah.
He's down 20k.
And his break-even is going to be low this week. His break-even is going to be low next week.
Yeah.
He could be 630, 40, 50k within a couple of weeks. So if you were keeping your flex open, if you didn't fill it last week coming with the buy, look at him this week under 600k if we're talking value. Number 3, Luke Parker.
Okay.
As we just discussed, 476k. Make a bit of cash from the Jack Sinclair trade. I think that's probably where you go. If you're paying up from Sinclair, if you're going to spend money to replace him, you probably wait to do it for Naz and Holmes. If you're doing it this week, you take the value option, take 30 or so K and go with Luke Parker. Bombers this week should score well. Again, yes, he might be up and down, but the ceilings might balance it out. Number 4, downgrade options, Marcus Herbert and Kyle Anand. 99Ks. Kyle Anand's on the bubble. Has been good, like his intercepting. Marcus Herbert, though, I think Eagles back in action this week. Only played 1 game. I still think he is going to be the better scorer from here. We talked about that last week. Number 5, another defender, Lockie Ash. Now, we're going to talk about this guy after, but probably still fits in another Supercoach ton, 544k. Been the top targets the past couple of weeks. Back in defence. Back moving the ball out of the back line for the Giants. 544k, given the Jack Sinclair injury. He's the other one you consider this week. You might already have Max Holmes. You might already have Nazai Wanganeen-Miller. And you want to go with the one who's probably more sure of finishing the top 6 or 8, Lockie Ash over Luke Parker.
All right. Bunch of top tags. Yeah, I like how you've sort of mixed in there. I mean, not everyone has to deal with the injury and not everyone needs to go straight swap for a defender. You can also play some DPP game, get some cover. Will Day at the top. I like it, Phantom.
491.
Like it. He was
Under 500K.
again a man who's seemingly undefeated this year.
5 names.
5 names. Pick Will Day, I think, before he played his second game or something. Jeez, he looks good, doesn't he, Will Day? He looks like a Supercoach rolled gold Bont level primo if the body stays healthy. And that's something where with those trades running low, Fant, the Will Day trade-in could be such a risk. But it would be a fun ride, I think, while it lasts, if it hopefully lasts for the full season.
But I think that's why, if the trade count's getting high, that's why he's at number 1 as well.
Yeah.
491K to finish off your midfield.
Oh,
might be worth it.
Well, speaking of unique names with 5 names, the great man is, I don't think his voice is suitable for the pod, but he sent through a name.
Oh, and now let me say this one.
Okay. Unique names with 5 names, without 5 names.
Now, he's on a, as he says, generational run.
Yeah, his words.
But I like this one.
Okay.
My man, Will Ashcroft, coming off the bye, 468K. Sydney this week, 151 against the Tigers before the bye, 86 and 109 before that. We won't talk about what happened in the previous month. We know he's been a bit down. Has he turned the corner? Has Brisbane turned the corner off that slump? The buy do him good. Will Ashcroft at 468K is great buying, down 77K on his starting price in 6.9% of teams.
Oh, wow. That's more potty than I thought.
Sydney and Geelong, tough matchups. But again, this is a guy who's won two Norm Smith medals.
Yeah, he only gets up for the big games.
He likes the big games, but we want to look after that. Essendon, West Coast, and Port. Essendon and Port at the Gabba.
I mean, it's part of the reason we wanted Clug.
And Carlton.
It's part of the reason we wanted Clug as well, the run.
So Will Ashcroft is from 5 names
Very
this week,
nice.
who's on a generational run. So get on if you want to follow our man. But I do endorse this one.
Okay. Endorsed by the fan.
Yep.
The People's Choice.
Yep. This is your segment.
I'm only going to go through this quickly. Just a couple of names we didn't mention in all of our many targets this round. But there's a name that's very high on the trade-in list from the People's Choice that I thought I'd ask you about. Mark Keane. So he's 8th overall most traded in, 419K. People looking for that value. A couple of other names, Nick Blakey in the defender bracket, and then Sam Durham. Just those 3 names I want your thoughts on. I think the rest of the names in there we've sort of discussed. The Horny one as well is a top 5 trade target. And I think
Horny's
if
on
you
the-
haven't
on
got
the
on the
fire.
Horny one, get around the great man.
Surely no one can. We copped a bit of stick for that, for sticking by our man.
We did. Been on fire though. So Sam Durham, 3rd most traded in of the premium sort of bracket here.
Yeah, now we did talk about this guy off air. Who's coming back for the Essendon side? Who's coming back into the midfield? 370K. Didn't jump on, scored 90 Supercoach points against the Ds after that big 127 against the Blues. They get a few back in the midfield, potentially. That was my concern. That's why I didn't go before the buy.
Yep.
Break even of 7. So, I mean, he's not going to be this cheap going forward, but I think he is so cheap at the moment that you probably wait to be sure and still get him for 400K
Okay.
next week if you can. I reckon I'd have one more look
All right.
at what it looks like in that makeup.
Fair enough, fan.
Mark Keane, highest rated player on the ground.
Yeah.
He returned 133 Supercoach points.
No Worrell.
No roll, 9 intercept possessions, 2 intercept marks.
That's the Worrell's going to be doing that though.
We know he's
as
been
well.
Yeah, but we know Mark Keane has
Yeah.
been very good last year.
That's too risky.
Only took 3 kick-ins. This is what we don't like, Chief. 3 kick-ins. Only 2 play on.
I can't
Kicked
be,
1
can't
from
be
the
doing
square,
that.
so no, he's
Can't be
out.
doing that.
Definitely have another look at that. Who's
It's
the other one?
you know more about the Crom than me though. Without Worrell, you can't bring in someone who's had a role that's obviously been better and boosted without him. And then Hall Kahan also, in that sort of similar role, scored his season high and career high on the weekend with a 96. So we don't know if it's just more of a matchup thing that they popped. I would be not going there.
I think with Hall Kahan, the previous week at Marvel, he had a lot of the footy too. Just burnt it a little bit more. I think he left a sort of an 80-point score, 85-point score out of Marvel Stadium as well. So, but yes, definitely have a look at Keane. I agree
Banks
with you.
over Keane?
I
like
think so.
110
Yeah, absolutely.
less. Yeah,
Absolutely. Having a look, at least having a look. Okay, not going to raise in price.
No.
First game for the year.
And then the other name there, just that I mentioned before as well, Nick Blakey. 509K, basically straight swap territory, just 2K extra than Sinclair. A guy that I have sort of had a look at, and I think the ceiling scores could be big as well, has the capability to go large. So probably similar to the Luke Parker pick in that could have a huge ceiling, but could get either tagged or get some attention on the way home as
his
well.
3 highest scores this year, 156, followed up with a 68 the week after. 128, followed up with a 59 the week after.
It's the ups and downs.
127, followed up with a 78.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to get.
Yep.
I think it's better options.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't dislike it though.
That is a dream finish for Sydney though. Port, Essendon North.
Yep.
Grand final, Supercoach Grand Final North at the SCG. Supercoach prelim week, Essendon.
Now, long show, but it has been probably the biggest week trades in a long time, fan. Quickly getting to the rookies. Oh, and the Bubs. And it's a quick one. Don't worry. It is quick. We spoke about most of the rookies already. Now, on the bubble, Kyle Annan, if you back him in, go for it. I've said I prefer, despite not being on the bubble, I prefer Jackson Artemis based on the fact that I think he'll provide me more cover. Again, has to play first, Phantom, to get selected and be in that role. I still prefer that. You disagree? You're going Annan?
Yeah, okay. Well, I like Herbert.
Oh, no, yeah, sorry, as well. Yep.
Artemis after that.
Okay. Mitch Podarski, 99K forward. He's on the bubble this week. If you just need a 99K forward, grab him. And Jackson Bammett, I'm going to say avoid that one because we've got, as you said, Marcus Herbert if you need a midfielder. Now, he comes in right up the top as well. I'd be picking him. If you have the ability to pick a mid over a defender, I'd be picking Herbert probably.
Now, we just on Podarski quickly. We said, he's not going anywhere. I see he's not going anywhere. He's playing the Elliott role, but he was pretty ordinary Saturday night.
Yeah.
So let's wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see on that one. But Marcus Herbert, West Coast, if you've got a spot left in your midfield, he won't get the dual position status given he is playing in defence at the moment for the Weags. Has to obviously stay in the team as well. We had a few out. I say we. West Coast had a few out prior to the bye. So he's not on the bubble, but you can pick him up. Has to play another couple. Jackson Artemis mentioned. Sam Swaddling. Very nice debut. 119K mid. Scored 82. Just 59% time on ground. I think we've mentioned it for a few weeks. Go for the 99K guys. And one other one in the ruck. Still holding a spot in the ruck. I'd be going dual positions only in the ruck, but Harrison Coe on the weekend, I'm worried as a Darcy Cameron owner that this guy comes in. He scored 103 Supercoach points for the Pies VFL team. I'm very nervous as a Cameron owner that this guy's going to come in. 28 hit out, 6 to advantage, 13 contested, 16 disposals on the weekend, 6 intercepts. And he was dual rucking, so he wasn't even solo. So maybe a sign of things to come. State League stat stuffers. Quick seggy. Matthias Filippo. 42 disposals, 20 contested possessions, 11 clearances, 144 Supercoach points after 148 the week prior. If you've got him still.
Top 6 in the VFL.
I'll be holding and see if he comes in after the bye as a midfielder. And then Jack Carroll. Still 10% owned is why I mentioned this, fan. Could he be the Sinclair direct replacement? Had 46 disposals at 91% efficiency, 10 marks, 10 intercepts, 6 score involvements, and a massive score in the VFL as well. So Jack Carroll.
I'm just picking him up off the waivers right now, my draft league, as we speak.
This was sort of something I was going to do for the run home as well. We have the full State League scores available on Code Sports as well if you want to go check out the full list. Now, I also just wanted to shout out a State League player. Fan for the run home here. So Cooper Murley at Norwood in the Sandful, the top scorer among all state leagues on the weekend. 23-year-old had 41 touches, 10 intercepts, 10 score involvements, and a snag for 192 Supercoach points. So shout out to Cooper. Warning signs, fan, and we're bringing this one back because something I noticed on the weekend. Kick-in watch for Lockie Ash and Lockie Whitfield. You mentioned Lockie Ash, potential target. Now, I still think he's a potential target, but it was mentioned pre-game, I want to say. Kingsley mentioned trying to get them up the ground a little bit more to be the next kick. Now, it resulted in Connor Iden and Harry Himmelberg sharing 11 kick-ins on the weekend, and poor old Whitfield and Ash only getting 5 between them in a high kick-in game. So that could ultimately be a big donut.
Kingsley in the pan.
Game.
Now, this is what, obviously, I think Craig McRae is trying to do at Collingwood.
Yeah.
Dan Houston.
And how's that going for Dan?
Exactly. And they're not even kicking to him. Not good.
So, look, I mean, we saw Whitfield only get an 88 on the weekend. Slightly definitely worrying for the ceiling. Worrying for the ceiling. If you're losing kick-ins, it's big time worry for the ceiling. Ash still scored 113. He still managed to get involved around the ground, but just something to be wary of. I don't think you should be scared off completely off these guys just because of kick-ins, but it's a warning sign. So flagging that one as well. Drop in kick-ins for Lockie Ash and Lockie Whitfield. Now another warning sign. We've spoken about this for weeks. But Tristan Xerri, let's just talk about it one last time. 10% CBAs on the weekend. Centre bounce attendances, ball up attendances, 10% was barely in there. 49% ruck contest. That's the lowest as well.
Third ruckman.
Third ruck, 66% time on ground. Still somehow got 106. I think it was all in the last quarter. Massive last quarter. Lucky for us owners, but look, you can't go there as a non-owner now fan, can you? You can't even look that way with this role. And as we said off the top in the news that there is some injury concerns there as well. The other warning sign, Cozzy. If you're a non-owner and you saw that tag on the weekend, do you, like you're saying, do you go a bit cheaper in the forward line and avoid Cozzy given that he's shown a ability to be tagged in that last game?
It's a worry. Watched that game pretty closely, had a lot of attention, didn't get as much free ball, but still obviously under pressure, 5 clangers, wasted it a fair bit. So I still think he can be damaging enough, even if he gets limited ball, to score okay when he is tagged. I think he'll be better than that when he's tagged, given the impact he can have with limited possession. So I wouldn't be jumping on right away, but I'm definitely not even thinking about looking to trade him out at this point or anything. No, I think he can work through. Dossy's deep fryer.
Stuff
what do we
the
got?
Phantoms fry pan. It's time for Dossy's deep fryer.
You're the angry one this week.
I'm frying all of you on the Lair. I'm frying you, Phantom. I'm frying Sim. I'm frying you all because this week's my week. This round 16 D-Day for everyone else but Dossy. I'm coming strong this week and I'm going to fly in this round.
You've said this for the last 4 bye rounds.
Yeah, and I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for this moment.
You are bop for the buys at the moment.
I won't be after this week. Now, we've spoke about who's missing this week. Plenty of absolute beast premiums, fan. You got Cozzy Pickett. Don't have him. Max Holmes. Nah, don't have him. Bailey Smith. Nah, don't have him. Max Gawn. Don't have him. Wilkie. Don't have him. Tanner Bruin. Don't have him. Ed Richards. It goes on. I'm going to fly. I don't have
Who do you have?
I don't have good players. So I'm going to be flying in round 16. Good luck, everyone else.
Watch Steph C.
Now, I've proposed out of the office now. I will propose to the podcast audience. I made the claim off the top before we started the bye rounds that should I not finish top every single week after my first round, this terrible opening round of the bye rounds where I scored 1,500, I would finish top every single week or I'd do a punishment. Now, I came close. There was an asterisk or 2 in there. Came bop this week, which didn't help.
You're going to be bop for the buys overall, not just missing out 1 week. You're going to be overall bop.
No, I won't be. But I've come to a conclusion here and I'll propose this to the audience. If I finish top 100 for the round, I miss out on doing any punishment. And in fact,
top 100.
And in fact, you guys do some punishment.
100 like in your suburb or something? Or your state even?
Top 100 for the round.
Overall.
Otherwise, suggestions in the comments for a punishment.
Top 100 overall.
Yeah, but if I don't finish bop of the buys anyway, it doesn't matter.
I'll shave my head if you scored 100 overall. Gee, if you get 100 overall.
Top 100.
Jeez.
Shave the head. All right, we've got that punishment. Let us know your punishments below. If I don't, because I said I would get top of the week every week. I haven't done it. I have to face the music and do a punishment. But if I'm top 100, you two have to do it. Yep. Sound like a deal?
Let us know.
Let us know the punishments in the comments. Like, subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you leave us a rating on Spotify. We know there's lots of listeners over there, Phantom. Not too many ratings. So get your ratings in. Huge episode, this one. Very long. Had to cover a lot of topics, but hopefully we covered everything.
Yep.
Sinclair's out. Buy around D-Days here. Good luck for your trades
Let us
this
know what
week.
you're doing. Buy, hold, sell, late mail coming up later in the week. And we'll see you back here on the Lair after round 16.
See ya.